What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about something that I've been meaning to do for a little while, and we had a tough time catching some fish here in the last few days, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this video now. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know I put up a poll asking you whether you wanted my next video to be a catch and cook or just plain old fishing. The overwhelming majority of y'all chose catch and cooks, which I enjoy doing myself, and that's something that we will for sure do coming up real soon, maybe in the next video or two. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. This is the 2019 rod and reel arsenal, which is constantly changing all the time. But we'll go ahead and just kind of show you guys what I'm throwing currently. So I'm just gonna go right down the line, no particular order. I do have a wide variety of, costly setups and pretty cheap setups. Starting first, Dobyns. It's actually a Dobyns Champion XP, and the model number is a DC703SF. This is primarily my kind of finesse rod. This is a medium fast action rod, 7 foot. This is primarily what I throw my, just whatever I need for a spinning reel. My lighter baits, wacky rig, shaky heads, all that good stuff. Paired up with a Shimano Symmetry 2500. And actually, I don't think you can buy those anymore, but I actually really like that little reel. It was like $100 or something. Got like an 8-pound fluorocarbon on that. My primary finesse setup right there. Next up is my Shimano Crucial. This is actually probably my first, most expensive rod. And I got that paired up with a Shimano Sitica. Don't throw this one as much as I used to. It's a 6'10", 6'10" Crucial, medium heavy, with a fast action. A lot of times I'll throw spinner baits, light Texas rigs. Right here, I actually got a little weighted wacky rig on there. I usually don't throw that on there. I actually like to throw like soft swim baits with this, like a little Tate or Rage Swimmer or something. This is what I use. That's pretty much the only thing I use this for. Maybe also throw a Senko on there. Let's just go with this one. You guys are gonna see I'm a pretty big fan of Dobyns rods. This is a Dobyns Champion Extreme. This is the DX745C. For a long time, this was my most expensive rod, my most expensive setup. I got that paired up with a Corrado. I think this is 8.5 to 1. I'm not 100% sure. But I usually throw my heavier jigs, half ounce to 3/4 of an ounce, or right now I got a ½ ounce on there, and with a big heavy hook and good old trench hog. So you guys may notice this, but my more higher end combos, I tend to spend more money on my baits that I drag along the bottom, stuff you really need sensitivity for, and that's what you're gonna see, just because I feel like, if a bass is willing to eat something that you're reeling in, then you're gonna feel a harder thump usually, or just kind of feel the weight of them, instead of really needing sensitivity to tell, okay, I got a bite. This is not a rock, this ain't a tree, I've got a bite. So once again, this is a Dobyns rod. This is the Champion XP. I really like the Champion line. This is a 735C split handle, and I also got that paired up with a Corrado. I also think this is an 8 something to 1 gear ratio. I'll go ahead and put that up here somewhere where y'all can see for sure after the video's over. And I got a little ½ ounce weight on there, some kind of Texas rig. That's usually what I throw on this, or jigs, or this is really just a do-it-all kind of rod, and I got a few of those. Kind of medium heavy, fast, or extra fast actions. This is actually a medium heavy, extra fast action, 7'3". Really love these Corrados. Love those Corrados. Once again, here's another Dobyns. I promise they're not all Dobyns, but this is a Dobyns 703 Champion line. It's 7 foot, and honestly I use this a lot for Senkos, chatter baits, spinner baits, light Texas rigs. This is a medium heavy, fast action rod. It's another one of those do-it-all rods. I really like those mediums and medium heavy rods. Honestly, I use this rod a whole lot for like weightless soft plastics. And this is also a Corrado I believe, older Corrado. It's the 7.2 to 1 gear ratio. So here we go, something a little different here. You guys can probably tell I like Shimano reels. This one's all messed up here. This is a Sedona 2500, pretty cheap. I think they're like 60 $60, $70 or something like that. I can't remember for sure. This is a Mojo Bass St. Croix, medium light power, extra fast action. This is 6'10". This is pretty much my drop shot rod. Now I don't drop shot a whole lot, but I usually keep it in the boat, to be honest with you. A lot of these rods you may not see me using all the time, but I do keep them in the boat ready to go for very specific situations. This is actually a rod I think designed for drop shotting. So a lot of tip, a lot of flex there in the tip, all the way through the rod really. It's a really good little drop shot rod. All right, and this one right here, this is pretty much my designated topwater setup. This is a older Corrado. This is one of the G series. This is a 7-1-1, and I got a spook tied on right there. Head and spook. Thanks to one of my subscribers for correcting me on that. This is a head and spook. Probably my favorite topwater bait, or the topwater bait I have the most confidence in. This is actually a Quantum rod, and I actually bought this off of someone. So this is a Quantum rod, XOPT on there. It says X4 carbon construction. It's a 7-foot rod, medium heavy, so I'm really not sure. It's got a fast action on it. This is kind of what I use for pretty much my walking baits. It's also got fluorocarbon on there. I think this, or monofilament actually. I think this is the only reel that I have monofilament on. Not a big monofilament person, but I do like it for some of my topwaters. This one here, I don't have a reel on it. I usually throw some heavy braid. I usually use this for frogging only. This is a Cabela's XML bass. Not sure on the availability of these anymore. Probably not available unless they're, you buy it secondhand off someone. But this is actually a technique specific rod. It's made for frogging. 7'4". Got a good little tip for working frogs. Real good little frog rod. And I'll just go through this one real quick too. This is I'm not gonna take the real rod cover all the way off. This is also another Quantum KVD signature series. This is a deep diving crankbait rod. This is a 7'10" rod, medium heavy. I don't use this on my biggest crankbaits, but I use this rod a lot for like maybe my 5XD, 6XDs, some of those deeper divers. And that's primarily what this is used for. Don't use this rod a whole lot. When I do, I usually use a 5-something-to-1 gear ratio reel. Usually my Corrado. If you guys are interested in seeing me do a little bit more deep cranking, be sure to let me know that down in the comment section below. Now we're getting into a little bit more expensive here. This is probably my most expensive setup. This is a G Loomis NRX. This is actually the 873 Carolina rig rod. I don't use this for Carolina rigging as much, but just because I don't throw that a whole lot, to be honest with you. But this is actually, and from my research, I found this out, and that's what ended up causing me to get this rod. This is actually a great jig rod because it is designed, for filling the bottom and kind of dragging stuff along. So I usually throw my 3/8 ounce jigs on here. You probably get away going a little bit heavier, maybe to a 1/2 ounce, but it really shines in that 3/8 ounce weight for jigs. On that, I also got this Metanium MGL. If you haven't seen the video on that, I'll leave that linked in the description below. It's an 8-something-to-1, 8.5 to 1, I assume. Man, I just love this reel. It's a great reel, but I'm not gonna talk about that. I already done a review on it itself. I usually throw 3/8 ounce jigs on this. They're like a 3/8 ounce Texas rig. On the complete other end of the spectrum, we have a Ducket White Ghost. And just kind of getting back to what I was saying, I spend more money on my bottom bait rods. This is my medium cranking to shallow cranking crankbait rod. So I throw my square bills, medium divers on this. This is a 7-foot Ducket White Ghost. Yeah, just a medium cranking rod. 7 foot, don't tell you what kind of action on there, but it's pretty much like a moderate fast, probably a moderate action with a Bass Pro Shop Pro Qualifier, kind of an older one. I actually bought this secondhand. It's a 6.3 to 1, and just a really good cranking setup there. I don't spend too much money on my cranking stuff because I don't do it a whole lot, and just one of those things. But yeah, there it is. A lot of people have complaints about the Ducket White Ghost. I do not. I've actually had real good luck with them and very impressed with Ducket rods altogether. All right, so my other topwater rod. This is kind of my heavier topwater rod. Again, I don't spend very much money on my topwater rods and reels. This is a 130 size whopper plopper. That's the size I like throwing the most. This is actually some white spider wire braid that I got real cheap somewhere. I usually don't use that. This rod is a Shimano Celis, really cheap rod, real good rod for the money. It's a 7'2", medium heavy, extra fast action. This is kind of what I throw my heavier topwater baits on, and it's actually supposed to be a worm and jig rod according to the rod here. And this is actually a Lose. I think it's probably the first non-Shimano reel that you've seen besides the Pro Qualifier. This is a LFS speed spool. Actually a really good little reel for the money. I think it was $100, and it is 7.5 to 1 gear ratio. So actually a lot of times I'll use this reel also to put on my frogging setup, or I just use this rod for frogging also. Here's a rod and reel that I use quite a bit. This is actually, I usually throw spinner baits and chatter baits on this pretty much exclusively. This is a Shimano Zodius. Really like the rod for the money. A 172 MH, so it's 7'2", and on the reel, it's another one of the G Series Corrado 7-1-1. This is about 15-pound fluorocarbon line. I use this quite a bit for my chatterbaits, to be honest with you. I don't throw a spinnerbait as much. You guys can't tell I love my chatterbaits. And then there's this guy right here. I'm not going to take the rod sock off this one. I also have a Corrado K on here. It's 8.5 to 1 also, I believe. Extra fast. I just got a little Hyper Freak on there. Usually throw anywhere from a 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounce on this. This is an NRX 894C jig worm rod. I ended up getting this rod because I was between, I wanted this rod, but I also wanted something to throw, you know, more of a 1/2 ounce to 3/8 ounce versus a 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounce jig Texas rigs on. So that's why I pretty much end up getting both, my other NRX and this NRX. I was completely undecided, so I just got both. That's how I solve problems around here on Fishing with Tate. If I'm between two things, I just get both of them. This is a heavy rod I use for my heavier jigs and stuff I'm dragging on the bottom. So there's that 894C, one of my favorite rods. And last but not least, my new rod. I've never used it, but you guys are going to be seeing it on here. I'm not taking the rod cover all the way off. This is my heavy hitter cranking stick right here. This is a Bass Pro Shop cranking stick. It is a medium heavy power with an extra fast action. It's rated up to 1.5 ounce for your big old crankbaits. That's actually an 8XD on there. And this reel is a 5 to 1 gear ratio. And I think that's 12-pound fluorocarbon on there. Pretty sure it is. So I actually just got this rod in. Gonna be doing a bit of deep cranking. Not sure what this sound is over here, but sorry about that, by the way. But guys, that's pretty much my rod and reels that I take with me, you know, on the boat. Don't always take all of them, but usually I do. Usually I have all these tied up in my boat, and it's quite a few. I'm not sure how many I just showed y'all, but that is not all my rod and reels, but those are the my more frequently used rods and reels that I like to take with me. But guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We've saw an increase in our numbers and subscribers, and I really appreciate all you guys for watching my channel, and I actually enjoy it quite a bit, so hope you guys enjoy watching. If you haven't already, also go check out my Instagram account. That is the social media I'm most active on, and you know, I do a lot of stuff on there. Also have Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. I'll leave that link down in the description below. Go check me out there. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time on another episode of Fishing with Tate.